Good morning from Finland. Traveled here from Mallorca last night from 25 degrees, being out on the Axopar 45. Now arriving in Vasa at the Axopar headquarter in minus 15 degrees. And for me it's the first time we're having a boat trip on over-frozen water. The reason for us being here, you can probably spot there in the background, just leaving this little harbor, is the Axopar 29, which will be presented in Düsseldorf on the boat in 2024, so in a couple of weeks. We are here on the probably most sold Axopar 28, which we're still selling, and the other boat leaving is an MK1, so the first Axopar 28, where the story began here 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. Next year will be the 10th anniversary for this boat. First time we will share some impressions of this new model. Axopar 29, not to compare with the Axopar 28, it's a complete redone, complete new boat. Much more volume, much more space utilization. So we're not calling the Axopar 28 the old boat, the old Axopar 28. It's the Axopar 28, and then we have the Axopar 29, which we will see and share some more footage later on. Pushing out the ice, very impressive, probably 5 centimeters of ice in here. They run some water system to stop the harbor from freezing over, and we're lucky with the weather. Going out now into more open water where the surface is not frozen. So yeah, we left the harbor like almost half an hour ago. We're still on the search for like not over-frozen water. We're just gonna enter the body of water where we have no ice. We are breaking the ice for the last half hour, driving through like 5 centimeters of ice. It's very unusual coming from Mallorca. 20-30 degrees difference in temperature. My hands are cold. I'm in this funny wet, funny suit. On board of the Axopar 28 cabin, the Axopar 29 is just ahead of us, and behind us is the MK1, so the first Axopar where it all started. Now we're going to do some driving shots with the different boats, swap boats, change and feel the differences. As we said before, the 29 is not a longer 28, or it's not like overhauled 28. It's a complete new boat, complete new driving feeling. That's what we're going to experience, and we're going to take you along for the ride. Yeah, first steps on the Axopar 29, it feels, I said it twice, 3 times, some people disagree, I feel more like on a small 37 than on the big 28. The differences are huge, huge, huge. Probably for me the most significant is that when you walk to the bow, you're suddenly on a higher level than you are on the back. So the gangway, starting more or less on the helm, on the door, increases probably 40 centimeters. And now when you sit in the new L sofa or the optional U sofa, so this is an option, this is a standard, you sit much higher than compared to the Axopar 28. Now, this is not a new Axopar 28, that's a new Axopar 29, completely redesigned. Experienced now what we just did when we were crashing through the ice is at the speed of 8-9 knots, what Bart is driving right now. Compared to the Axopar 28, our bow rises a little bit, not much. You still have perfect visibility, so Bart can still see always over our bow, but it comes a little bit up, which makes it, in the conditions we sometimes get in Mallorca, a bit easier to navigate, as you can get in harsh conditions. Let's say we have a meter or meter 50 of waves, we can get the bow up and plow through at 8 to 10, 11 knots. Then it goes to the front. For the passenger, it was always, when you're driving fast, you're sitting not facing forward. That's a really big change what they took from the 37. So now suddenly we have a forward-facing bench here in the front. Yeah, you can probably sit one, let's say 2 adults and one child. Having the table here, the table can be then extended to a sunbed. We're gonna see that later. That's a much more driver-style experience, facing forward than facing sideways or facing even backwards. So now you sit 2 people here or 3 people here, 4 or 5 people inside. I'm very thrilled about this new product. This keeps a secret, you know, from the Axopar 28 where it was the side opening door. That's not the secret where we're gonna look into later. I guess it's gonna show it to you now without taking Bart's view. It's a cabin, full cabin on the bow with the toilet integrated. We're gonna sneak in later once we're back in the harbor out of the freezing cold. So yeah, we arrived on a very, very small island. We're in a kind of natural harbor where we have MK1 28, then the model we still selling, the 28 cabin with single engine V10. And I'm standing now on the Axopar 29. I don't say it's a new 28. It's an Axopar 29. It's almost like a small 37. Cross cabin in this version it's called. We had some adventures. This is not part of the adventure we had. I'm wearing just one glove. We had a little accident with the drone catching it. We had big swell coming here. I would say like a meter 50 to meter 50 of swell. The boat handled like it was a test for us how the boat gonna handle, and we were very surprised, especially with the cabin. Very happy to see that. For me, when people ask me for Mallorca, the Axopar 28 cabin was never a boat we really had in Mallorca. We had a T-top, it was perfect, and we're getting more and more 37 cross cabins to Mallorca. This boat, I actually see now that we can bring it to Mallorca. We have a huge sun pad in the front. This is all, so we have a table which lowers down. This is gonna be all sun pad. Same, there's a padding for the front on the anchor hatch. So this is for sunbathing. Then you have this bench, you can turn the table, so you can sit here, bring the table here, or extend this one as well to have a sun pad. So this I see more and more coming, like not replacing 28 T-top, but being an alternative to 29 T-top to bring this cabin 29 to Mallorca. We just opened it a little bit on the way here, but it's still always surprising. The space, we're gonna make a video from inside tomorrow when we are not out navigating. It's very surprising how much space we actually get in here. Then the U sofa we talked about. There's no anchor installed on here. A big upgrade happened here, so now we have a standard winch, not a vertical winch. Where we always had, we had lots of trouble with the vertical winches in the past. This is now a new solution where we have a separated chain compartment, and then on the right hand for lines or for fenders to put in. Water filling is hidden underneath here, if I remember right. So to open this one, this is a new locking system where we don't have to lift the cushions up. And same when we want to close it, it just falls closed, and now it's closed. Very nice to access. This is the cushion we talked about for the anchor hatch. Water filler, this is the electrical compartment. And same here for storage of the table, storage of the legs, the shorter legs to bring the table down to make the big sun pad in the front. And then on the optional right hand extension of the U sofa, of the L sofa, which makes it to a U sofa. This is just an open storage we know from the 22 and from the 25, where it was in the aft. So they took the same form and idea to bring it now here to the front to just make this U sofa layout. Embedded everywhere in the upholstery, we have the cup holders. They're not a final version. There might be a bigger version because this one doesn't even hold a can of Coke. So this is just for beer. So they have to be a little bit bigger. Walking back, that's what we know from all the cabin boats. That the railing, also it's like a gutter for the water, but it actually like serves really well as a handrail. And what you see now, just when you walk past me or when I walk to the camera, is the space on the gang board. It creates, or it helps a lot. I'm almost 190, that my shoulder goes under the roof, which stands out a little bit more, but it gives me lots of room to walk in and out. Side boarding step on starboard and on port. And a really big change is from all this, like this parts which come as a GFK form. So you have lots of different angles. It looks very designed. It's not just a flat surface and a door which opens and closes, which is a bit bulky. It has really everywhere where you have to access the lock. It has very nice design language throughout the whole thing. Same in the back for the new lock. The huge storage, for much bigger storage for in the fender box. It goes aft all the way to where we have, oh, it's icy here a bit on the baiting platform, where we have the cleats now on the sloped surface, especially for Mallorca or Mediterranean style mooring, where we bring the mooring lines up to this cleat. It's very preferable, as now the lines go straight onto the cleat without going over the back of the fender box. Engines are tilted up a little bit, so we reduce a little bit the walking space here, but normally they would be a bit further down, then it creates a bigger passageway. And here, this is, if some people of you remember from the very first, so on the MK1, of the very first of Axopar 28, they had a back cabin with a fully openable hatch to access. And this comes back now, but in a very modern way. So this is like a combination between a multi-storage and an aft cabin. So they have the lock, which we know from the 37, and then the whole sun pad comes up and gives access first to the aft cabin, but as well it's very, very easy now to store stuff. Imagine, like now we would put boxes in here, for example, for your water toys. You just store stuff, you bring your food, you bring your personal belongings, huge access, and close it again without having to access, or the need to access through the main cabin. From the space or from the dimension, like I see people testing, is the sunbed big enough? And they just lay it like this and say, it's a bit too short. But who's like this in the sunbed? It's really, what do you want to do? You want to lounge, chill. And with 190 or 186, for me, I have really nice position, especially because you have an inclination of the back window, so it's not straight, it's a bit inclined or declined, so you're really comfortable sitting here. You have this one in your back resting, you're having your back resting against it. It's not the very final version. There are going to be a little bit of changes. This is going to be filled a little bit more, but it's very close to what it will be, and it's the favorite position for many people of on the 37 is this position while driving. You're fully enclosed, you're fully covered, you're shaded, like you have this overhang from the roof, so you're not sitting in the full sun, and you're very well protected by from the environment, wind, rain, so you can even sit here in the back. Then we're walking forward, fishing rod holder, and like now we look through the big window, and that's taking the C like frame. Like we have an A, B and a C. This is completely gone. So the whole roof structure sits on the B, where the door opening is. So it creates very, very good visibility to the back. from outside in, but as well, or especially even more when you're inside, being a driver, being a passenger, you feel very, very free and very, very open. It's about time for us to leave. We just made a bonfire here. We were doing some sausage grilling. We had some, was it glögg what we had? No, it was not glögg. Like coffee with some glögg. Now we're heading back to Vasa, and there we're gonna do some more videos inside and while driving back. Yeah, so heading back to Vasa. Sun is already setting, so it's not 6 p.m. or 7, like it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. That's why we're quite far north. In the background, like it's glass. It's some ice on the water, but there's not a ripple, so you see a super nice silhouette or the nice mirror of the 28. Perfect design, very, very bold looking. It looks like quite aggressive, but still keeps very nice design features. Day full of adventure, breaking lots of ice, having a barbecue on a remote island. That's Axopar adventure day, a true adventure. Now we're going back. Tomorrow we're gonna have a blizzard. On the background, on the horizon, you can already see the blizzard coming up, and the 29 is now speeding into the sunset back to Vasa. We're gonna have sauna tonight, and then probably another day full of learning about the new boat tomorrow. And we see us back.
So Tom, tell me, you're gonna did some driving now of the boat. We got some swell from the back. So what is your feeling?
As I'm with 5 testigos, we say in Spain, I didn't want to nosedive or stuff the bow, but it's not prone to stuff. So the nose stays like quite, like it's not voluminous in the front, so you get more volume than the 28, but it's not prone to nosedive.
Because we have quite some swell, but how's the feeling? It's very dynamic, or?
It's a small 37. I come back with this comparison over and over, but it behaves really nice in these conditions. Very agile, but same would behave on all the Axopars. Like it does what I tell it to do, and it doesn't really request any more input from the driver. So you put it where you want to go, and it goes. We're still doing 30 knots. We're still doing, yeah, 30 knots with quite a good swell from the stern.
And with 6 people on board.
Yeah.
One brave woman. Yeah. Sweet. What fuel consumption?
There's a seal here.
There was a seal up there. I just dived stuff down.
You just went into the jet.
It's full Axopar jeans. Like it's a sportive, super safe, comfortable ride.
Tell me something about the fuel consumption you can see there.
We were riding on 1.7 per nautical mile. Like 7 people, how's the fuel? Probably a full fuel tank. So very similar to the 28